Arctic scientists race to gather the last of winter data. Spring in the Arctic in recent years has arrived about 2 weeks earlier than a decade ago due to melting snow. For this reason, the past week saw peak activity on the part of polar scientists collecting valuable data from the Arctic region's ice and snow. The North and South poles of the Earth are important determinants of climate change. They also contain critical ice archives of past and present climate changes. Supreme Master Television asked Dr. Gregory Flato at the University of Victoria in British Columbia, Canada, to explain some of these indicators of climate change in the Arctic.
As the climate warms, as we put more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, the atmosphere near the surface warms up. But that warming isn't uniform over the globe. It warms more at the high latitudes, particularly in the Arctic, than it does at the lower latitudes. And the reason for that is that the sea ice and the snow at the high latitudes are very reflective. They reflect sunlight and act to cool the climate, whereas at the lower latitudes the surface is darker. Now when you start to warm up the climate, that bright surface, the ice and the snow, begin to melt away and expose the dark underlying surface, either the ocean or the land. And that dark surface absorbs more of the solar radiation, acts to warm the climate more, which acts to melt more of the ice.
Dr. Flato estimates that based on summer minimum measurements, the ice-covered area of the Arctic has been declining at a rate of 8% over the past 30 years. During the last 5 years, however, this rate has increased dramatically. Surface area declined by an alarming 40% within just one summer period last year in 2007.
The average summertime was something like 9 million square kilometers, and last summer it was down to about 5, a little over 5. So a very dramatic reduction of almost 40%.
This year, the Arctic Ocean between northern Canada and eastern Siberia was almost completely ice-free in the summer, which is a faster rate of disappearance than even Dr. Flato's climate models predicted.
We're into territory that we haven't really experienced before.
Scientists still have many unanswered questions about the Arctic, but through diligent inquiry and meticulous collection and interpretation of data, their understanding is growing day by day. We are grateful to the hundreds of researchers like Dr. Flato, whose commitment places them in the field at the forefront of these studies. May we meet their dedication with actions of our own to address this urgent issue and restore the fragile balance of our earthly abode.